Hello, and today we're going to learn how to clear fractions in an equation. Basically, by the end of this tutorial, you will be able to turn this crazy equation right here into this much simpler equation right here. And it's all using the multiplication property of equality and something called the LCD, or the least common denominator. So what is the least common denominator? It's the smallest value for which every single denominator is a factor. So when we say factors, we're talking about multiples of this. So think about 3. What are 3's multiples? It would be 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, and so forth. Those are all the multiples of 3. Well, some of them. They keep going. Okay. What are the multiples of 6? 6, 12, 18, 24, and so on. Okay. And what are the multiples of 4? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and so on and so forth. Now, the LCD is the smallest number that they all have in common. So the smallest multiple of 3, 6, and 4 that they all share. So 3, nope, these two don't have a 3 as a multiple. 6 works with 3 and 6, but not 4. 4 doesn't have a multiple that's equal to 6. 9 doesn't work because 9 is only in 3. 12, aha! We have a 12 here, we have a 12 here, and we have a 12 here. So the LCD of this equation is 12. 12 is the smallest number that is divisible by 3, 6, and 4. We have just discovered our LCD is 12. There might be quicker ways of coming up with it, and you'll get better at doing this, but for right now you need to think, what's the smallest number that I can divide by 3, 6, and 4? Even if you don't come up with the smallest number, so if you were to keep this list going, for example, you'd end up getting a 24 here. You have a 24 here, you'd end up getting a 24 here. So 24, if you use it in this problem, would work, but it's just going to introduce bigger numbers. So you always want the smallest ones. All right, so what do you do with the LCD if you find it out? Well, let's use that LCD to clear out fractions. So first, let's figure out the LCD of this equation. So what is the smallest number that 2, 3, and 6 are all factors of? Or what's the smallest number that you can divide by 2, 3, and 6? In this case, to save a little bit of time, the LCD is 6. You can divide 6 by 2, you can divide 6 by 3, and you can divide 6 by 6. All right, now we're going to use the multiplication property of equality to clear out this fraction by multiplying every single term in here by 6. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply every single number, or every single term by 6. Okay, so we're going to kind of multiply every single thing out. So 6 times a half times x. So what is 6 times a half? Or what is a half of 6? That would be 3. So we have 3x. What is 6 times a third? Or what's a third of 6? That would be 2. And what is 6 times a sixth? Or what is a sixth of 6? Well, this is you can see that these two, 6 and a 6, are multiplicative inverses of each other. You multiply them, you're going to get 1. So 1. Okay? This equation is much easier to solve. I'm going to solve this using the addition property of equality first. 3x plus 2 plus negative 2 is equal to 1 plus negative 2. So I'm going to use the addition property to cancel out that floating 2. So we get 3x is equal to negative 1. And then I'm going to multiply both sides by a third, because if I multiply the left side by a third, I get just x is equal to negative 1 times a third. So this becomes x is equal to, and negative 1 times a third is negative 1/3. There's my solution. Okay, let's look at another example. What's the LCD? In this case, there's only two denominators, 6 and 9. So what is the smallest number that I can divide into 6 and 9? And let's see. 6, 12, 18, 9, 18. Ooh, they both share 18. That's the first number they both have in common in terms of multiples. So 18 is my LCD. I'm going to multiply the entire equation by 18. Alrighty. Now this one's going to be a little bit different. Here I have not a number that's just a fraction that's just a 1 on top. I have 18 times 5/6 x. So what I'm actually going to do right now, just to make things a little bit easier, is I'm going to write it out like this. Okay. When you multiply fractions, this is the same as saying 18 over 1. So 18 times 5, and then 1 times 6. Okay, minus 18 times 2. Even though this isn't a fraction, it's still a term in the equation. You have to multiply it by 18. So this would be negative 36. Okay, is equal to 18 times 1/9, or what is 1/9 of 18, or 18 divided by 9? 18 divided by 9 is 2, so you'd end up with 2. All right, let's take care of this little guy right here. This is a fraction, and I can divide both the top and the bottom by 6. If I divide the bottom by 6, I just get 1. The top by 6, this becomes a 3. So what's 3 times 5? 15. This would be 15x minus 36 is equal to 2. This is how you reduce fractions. If you need a refresher on how to reduce fractions, feel free to, I'm sure there's videos that exist for that as well. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to need to get rid of this negative 36 by adding a positive 36. So we're going to add a positive 36. That makes that become 0, and I get just 15x. Now I have to use the addition property of equality and add that same 36 to the other side. So this becomes 38. And then multiply both sides by 1/15 equals 38 times 1/15. So I end up getting just x on this side equals, and 38 times 1/15, there's not a really nice way of doing the division. I would just leave it as this improper fraction. 38 divided by 15 is 38 divided by 15. Just leave it like that. All right, now the example that I gave you in the very beginning of the video is this. How are you going to turn this into a nice, easy equation? All right, so let's figure out what the LCD is. The LCD, the smallest number that both of these go into evenly. Let's take the big number, because actually that's probably a quicker way of doing it. So 6, 4 doesn't go into 6. 12, 4 and 3 both go into 12. So 12 is the LCD. So we're going to multiply every single thing by 12. If we do that, we're going to end up with 12 times 2 over 3x plus 12 times 5 over 6 equals 12 over 4. So we multiplied the numerator of every fraction by 12. Or you can think of it like this. Multiplied every fraction by 12 over 1. So the denominator stays the same and the numerator gets a 12 multiplied by it. All right, we can reduce every single one of these fractions. Here I can divide 3 by 3 and 12 by 3, and I get 4. Here I can divide 6 by 6, get 1, 12 by 6, and get 2. Here I can divide the top and the bottom by 4, I'd get 1 and 3. So now all my denominators are 1, which is the whole point of clearing out fractions, which means we don't have fractions anymore because our denominator is 1. We have 4 times 2, which is 8. We have 2 times 5, which is 10. And we have, what was this, 3? Just 3. And that was the equation that I gave you in the very beginning. So you reduce all of your fractions so that you end up getting something that has no fractions in it whatsoever. All right, so we can, let's add a negative 10 to the left side and the right side so that we can take care of this plus 10 deal over here. So plus negative 10. So this becomes 8x, and this becomes 3 plus negative 10 is negative 7. We're going to multiply both sides of the equation by 1/8 so that we can clear out that 8 right there. So we get x over here, and then negative 7 times 1/8. Again, that's not a really nice decimal. We would just leave it as negative 7 over 8. And there's my solution. So that's a way that you can use the multiplication property of equality to reduce fractions. Find your LCD and multiply everything by your LCD, and guaranteed, if you do it correctly, you will end up with an equation that has no fractions in it. Your solution might be a fraction, but that's okay because you don't have to worry about doing anything with your solution. You just give it in fraction form. Okay? There's how you clear out fractions from an equation.